Chapter 14. The hunt begins. The forest no longer obeyed the rules of the world. Paths twisted mid-step and roots stretched out as if to trip her. The air thickened like syrup in her lungs. The owl-faced thing didn't move fast. It didn't need to. It's big enough to keep her in his sight. It stalked Mara the way a shadow stalks light, always present, never rushing. She heard it before she saw it. Crack, clack, the creak of bark, the rustle of dead leaves with no wind. Then, Mara, her name, spoken in her father's voice, but her father had died when she was 9. Or had he? She couldn't picture his face anymore. She turned a full circle, nothing but trees. She screams out loud, hoping that this is just a nightmare in her mind. Then, behind her, she heard footsteps. Not hers, with fear in her steps, she bolted. The woods opened briefly into a clearing filled with blackened stumps. The trees here had been burned or rotted, some still standing, some slumped like dying men. She stumbled toward a broken stone well in the center, her heart pounding. Inside, reflected in the dark water, herself. But older, her eyes blackened out and her skin flayed, a mouth that is sewn shut. The reflection moved on its own. It whispered, "You're already part of the hollow." Mara! She smashed the surface with a branch she picked up beside her. The air changed and she looked up. It stood across the clearing in front of her, tall and still. Watching her, its arms hung to the ground and fingers like splintered roots. The owl-faced thing didn't blink and seemed not to breathe. Then it moved in her direction. 1 step, then 2, not running but drifting. The fog followed in its wake like a veil. Mara turned and ran again, but this time, the woods resisted. The branches caught her jacket. The thorns pulled at her hair like fingers. And through it all, the clack of its limbs grew closer. She came to a dead end. A circle of trees with no paths and no gaps through them. She turned, and there it was standing, just 10 feet away from her, no expression and no eyes, just a slow raising of its arms, a puppet being lifted by invisible strings. "You were never real," it whispered in her voice. Then it stepped forward. Mara screamed and threw Elias's charm at its roots. The spiral symbol hit the ground, and for a second, just a small second, the creature froze in his step. It tilted its head. 1 slit on its face fluttered, in confusion, and in that heartbeat of a second of hesitation. Mara saw an opening and dove sideways through a wall of brambles and vanished into the trees. She didn't stop running until her legs gave out under her. She fell near a ring of mossy stones. Something pulsed beneath the earth here. She feels it vibrating through her. Something old. Maybe the seal. But behind her, far away now, the owl-faced thing was still walking, and still searching for her and whispering her name over and over.